Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. This afternoon I'm here with Basil, fellow Park End season ticket holder and super fan. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thanks. Thanks for joining me. You're looking forward to going tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm working, so you're gonna be representing the channel at the game. Is that excitement pumping through your veins? Are you looking at the clock, waiting, counting down the hours till 3 o'clock tomorrow?
I think I am counting down the seconds at the moment. Yeah, it's going to get to that point where you can't do anything because you're just waiting in anticipation for it to start. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Just before we move on to the Southampton preview, I just want to talk about the situation with the tickets at the moment. I mean, it's a ticketing chaos from what I've seen. I mean, just talking about my experience. My girlfriend's family have signed up for 3 season tickets this season, and there's no sign of the season tickets being delivered. And the PDF replacements, so they can get into the game as well, haven't been delivered. It's an absolute disaster. I mean, there must be thousands of people in the same position awaiting season tickets still, or printouts, the digital tickets, the physical tickets. It's really not good, is it, David, that they've allowed this to happen, and especially with so much time before the game to get everything ready.
Seems like they're not very prepared. It's quite poor from the club on this one. I mean, there's a lot of people waiting for tickets, as far as I understand. There's people, the digital tickets. I had a quick look at the sort of process for that, and it didn't seem as quick as I kind of would want it to be. I mean, I've purchased the proper card because it just seems easier to have the card. And then you've got like people who can't get to the game. They can't use StubHub for this match, but Everton don't have their ticket system up yet. So it's all a bit of a mess, really, isn't it?
It's a shambles. I mean, Mabsy from the channel, we don't know if people have been seeing him on the other recent videos talking about this, but he's really upset because he hasn't had a season ticket yet and he's had to go down. I think he went down the box office on Monday and was told if it's not there on Wednesday, come back, or something went on, and he made several wasted trips and he had 3 hours on the phone, and just really not good from them. And I think it's taken some of the excitement and pleasure out of going because there's a little bit of chaos. And let us know in the comments if you've your season ticket or if you're still waiting ahead of tomorrow's game.
The last thing you want to do is like queuing up for an hour before the game to get your ticket. If you want to go for a pint or go to Chippy, and you're governed to stand in the queue, and you've paid the money same as everyone else, so it shouldn't be happening.
It is a little bit mad that tomorrow they're rolling out the digital tickets and there's going to be queues as long as, queuing down the street, people also going into the box office still trying to get their ticket. And yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. I mean, you're talking about allocated entry times as well, something you picked up on. What's going on with that?
I've just seen people on Twitter saying they've been allocated time, but I've had no correspondence from the club, so I'm just so confused. Let us know in the comments. If you're going, have you been told what time to kind of go through the turnstiles?
Yeah, nobody has any idea what's going on. I mean, I can't go for work reasons tomorrow, and you're going, and someone's taking my ticket. But yeah, I mean, I just see queues a mile long, people not having their season tickets, and people getting frustrated having to go to the box office early to get tickets printed. I just think there's a lot of problems going on, and trying to call through. I think there was 300 people in a queue at one point trying to get on the phone and get it sorted. So everything's extremely chaotic. It's bonkers. There is a comment from George. Hi, George. He says, I've got a season card but won't be leaving it until 2:55 to get into the ground. That's very sensible. There's no allocation times. That was someone on a wind-up on Twitter. Sounds about right. Nice to see you again, George. I'd like to just, before we move on to the preview, we're just going to have a very brief message from our friend, Luca Dean.
It's Lucas Dean. Follow Everton.
Subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
See you later, Lucas.
Make sure you do what Lucas has said and click the subscribe button. So, Southampton at home, we haven't played them in a little while, obviously, because of the summer's break. Only joking. I think it was one of the last games of the season, Southampton. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. It was either the second or third to last, I think.
Scraped a 1-0 win. It was a nervous one as well. I think we were played off the park. Danny Ings, though, the main player, has gone to Aston Villa. Do you think that's a massive blow and really weakens Southampton's chances this season? And, of course, on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, the transfer business is interesting, isn't it? They've sold Danny Ings. They've let Ryan Bertrand go to Leicester on a free. Vestergaard looks like he's out the door now to Leicester. It's not quite gone through. So, 3 of their kind of starting 11. And obviously, Danny Ings is sort of quite prolific, isn't he, in terms of like Premier League strikers who are proven, and he's gone. So, I don't know what's going on there. I think we've got it tough, but, it seems to be similar what's kind of going on there.
He just loved scoring against Everton, Danny Ings, and I think not having him in the team against us on Saturday, obviously, because of his transfer, is going to really boost us. And I think their threat is more limited now. But it has been a bit of a mixed bag in recent seasons against them, hasn't it? With a lot of draws and a lot of poor games, particularly away from home.
The home record against Southampton recently is pretty good from what I remember. It's just tends to be when we go down to St Mary's that we struggle to get 3 points consistently. But at home we have done, and without Ings, you do think, well, we've definitely got more of a chance there, I would say. But, with this being the first game of the season, anything can happen. We don't know what fitness is like for both teams and mentality at the moment. So we just have to see what happens. First 10 minutes could be completely different to how we expect it to be.
Just before we divulge a little bit more into the specifics of Southampton and how we might play, should we have a little talk about Rafa's pre-match press conference, in which he was typical Rafa Benitez. I mean, I struggled to sit through it. I thought he was a bit boring, and I felt like he was deflecting and he just couldn't give a straight answer. And I hate to mention his name, but Ancelotti, a lot of the time, he would just say, who was available and what the situation was. Rafa dodged the question. He just said there was 5 players missing. He wouldn't give specifics for tactical reasons, but it's in modern football. Everyone knows everything going on anyway between the clubs. So I'm frustrated really that the press conference, he just wasn't more honest and said, look, Gbamin's self-isolating, Moise Kean has got an injury or is looking to go. Just be honest with us, because we're not stupid, and we're all, if you look on social media, and particularly a survey that The Athletic had done, which said, how high do you rate your chances this season? Everton's fans were the lowest in terms of happiness and optimistic out of 20 teams. So we're fed up and frustrated, and the last thing we need is a manager now who's not willing to give us a straight answer with team selection and also bring you in on that. But the James Rodriguez, again, he typically deflected away from it, and he's more than happy to say Richarlison's a big player for the team, but all we got was James. You can understand why the fans want to see him. So what did you make of the press conference?
Yeah, he was very coy, wasn't he, with everything, and you can kind of get the vibes off him about different things just from the way he acts. Obviously, he talks about Richarlison, but when it comes to anyone else, he won't give them the time of day. So you can obviously see that the players he's not too keen on. The rumors about James, I wouldn't be surprised if they were true. I mean, the way he says he spoke to him when he first came in and told him the situation.
I think he said, this is the way I want to play, and you're going to be a bit part player because I need fast transition and all this. But I think it is part of keeping the fans happy, and really I think you have to do that, because if we played James and he wasn't doing anything, then you'd understand it maybe selling him or getting rid of him. But I think to do what he's doing is going to alienate a lot of fans. I don't like his demeanour, Rafa's demeanour. From what I saw today, I just thought, fucking hell. Like, I don't like him. He's deflecting, he's not interested, and he's just... He could have given us so much more in that press conference than he did, I think, in terms of answering the questions.
I don't think the questions were as useful either. I mean, I didn't really learn anything from that press conference, as you say. And in previous years gone by, I can definitely say that, like my Koeman or my Ancelotti, I did get bored listening to them, and they didn't really give the answers. With Carlo, he kind of the snake kind of gave us answers, and you kind of wanted to come back and listen for more next week.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be listening to Rafa that as much keenly if he's not going to tell us anything.
Yeah. One thing he did say, though, when he was prompted about how Everton's going to play this season, he said he doesn't want passing for passing's sake. And he's spoken to the players about not playing it around the box aimlessly. And I think we're just going to see a more direct team this season with more focus on a faster transition. Surely the fans will like that. And also, just to give credit where credit's due, he does recognise that hard work and giving 100% is what the fans want as an absolute minimum. I think these 2 points are actually good for him. What kind of reception do you think he'll get tomorrow in terms of first match at Goodison Park?
I think people will back him. I think from past experience of being to Goodison, where there's been something controversial going on, generally the majority of the crowd backs, the Everton player or the manager in this case. And I think that'll be the case tomorrow, at least in the short term. He's not going tomorrow, so there's no point doing him. We need to just get behind the team for this match.
He's going to be on a really short fuse, isn't he? I mean, we're all impatient now. We're frustrated after years of real misery and getting our hopes up and then letting us down. I think if he doesn't get the ground running, fans are going to turn very quickly. And the Liverpool fans are going to love it, saying Agent Rafa, it's already a thing now. And I think in terms of Everton fans, I just think they're going to say, well, he's going to become a cop-out very quickly. And I think patience is running thin and he will have a short window to try and impress. Do you think he will hit the ground going tomorrow?
It's very difficult because, he's got to get them working hard, as he says. If he doesn't, there's just no quality in the team really at the moment. It's just not looking great. So, if they don't work hard and work for it and have a good game plan, then we won't win the games. So it's not looking promising, is it, looking forward? But, let's hope we get a surprise and we kind of start kicking into gear now that the season's underway.
He does say he wants more players and he does want more signings. And
he also says he's got to wait till the end of the window.
Yeah, he's waiting for people to go and he's waiting for the prices to drop. And it seems unfortunate that, for example, we missed out on Denzel Dumfries to Inter Milan for a 12 million fee. We can't be that skint, surely. I mean, that's got to be player preference, you would imagine. But there's still a lot of signings to be made, particularly at right back and in midfield. Arguably, if Holgate goes, another central defender, and if Moise Kean goes, another forward. So I'd say at least 4 players we need. And I think signings would be really important because there's a lot of negativity at the moment. And I think the Evertonians could do with a bit of a boost and in terms of trying to get some more optimism ahead of the season.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at signings. But, we've got to give them a chance. I know we've seen a lot of these players before, but we've got to give them a chance with the new manager to prove how they're going to play, to prove they're determined. And then, after a couple of weeks, we'll be at the end of the transfer window. And we just need to do some business quickly and efficiently.
So, Basil, moving on to the actual game and talking about the specifics of Everton's team. We don't know who's available, but I'm going off a presumption that Andre Gomez, Jean-Philippe Gbamin, Moise Kean, and James Rodriguez are also, of those 4 are unavailable. And my source also said that Yerry Mina wasn't available. So I'm going off the fact that we then 5. Could you tell me what sort of team you're going with for tomorrow's clash and the formation?
Well, I'd like to know what's happening with a certain number 10. Because, no one's asking in the press conference.
They did. They said what's going on. A couple of people did.
I didn't see that, but all I saw was 5 people weren't available. But you've just named 5 there without that person. So I think the fans are getting a bit touchy on what's actually happening. We just want to know.
Yeah, but just on the basis of what I've said, David.
On the basis that those 6 players are missing, then this is the team that I've put together, because I feel like I've got no option but
I
to
knew you were doing this. I absolutely knew that was coming.
because I've got no other option but to play. And I'll be honest, I'm not too keen about playing Townsend, but we haven't got a better option. And he needs to, have a chance to prove that he can be a starter. The same with Gray. The two of them are new signings. They need to come in. And if they're not good enough, then at least 2 weeks we've got to see them, 2 matches, to prove that they're good enough. Because otherwise we need to go out and spend some money. But
so what we've decided to do this season, we're not actually showing each other the teams before the video. So I'm looking at this blind, and I completely expected that Maz would go with this team.
Obviously, it's Pickford in goal. Yeah, well, he's going to be our starting keeper. So, I know he was rusty last week, but he's just got to play. Dean is certain left back. Coleman, he started the season. If he's fit, he plays. At the moment, Kenny's just not going to cut it, I don't think. Then you got Godfrey's just, first names on the team sheet. He's one of them. And then the last one is Keane. If we've got no Mina, I've got to play Keane. He's had the most minutes in pre-season from what I've seen. So, we don't want a rusty defence. Even if Mina was fit, I wouldn't be playing him in this game because I've only seen him for 30 minutes and he struggled to head the ball away when we conceded last week. So, I'm not throwing him in. It'll be a shambles. And then the midfield, it's a workman's midfield, Allen and Decore. Let's hope they can eat the ground. And then Gray and Townsend out wide. Bit of width, quality balls into Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin should be fruitful. Where this team is lacking is a bit of creativity somewhere in the midfield. No ball carrier, nobody to spread a ball out to
creativity in that team.
No creativity to get the ball out. If you had that certain number 10 we were talking about, or you had Hammers, then maybe you've got a bit more oomph in terms of getting the ball from side to side quicker and feeding little passes in and through balls. So, it's how do we get the ball out to Gray and Townsend quick enough that they haven't got to beat 2-3 men to put a cross in. But, I look at this and I think that's the best we got. And I think we could win the game off this.
Baz, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on the team. I knew you were going for a 4-4-2. I think there is a shift to a crossing style this season. And you raise a good point about getting those wingers in the ball early or in the right positions in behind. I think functionally this team is okay. And if this is a starting 11 most weeks, I can see Everton winning a lot of games. I just think there's going to be a cut-off now, and that Chelsea are unreachable and City unreachable. I don't know about Liverpool, but United unreachable. They're just too far ahead, and the way they've strengthened with the players, Grealish and Lukaku, I don't see us beating them. And I think that's the difference maybe between this and last season when we did take points off some of the top 6. I think this season it's going to be a real challenge, but I think this will beat most of the teams, maybe 12, 13 teams in the league. I think would win because you've got 2 wingers who are going to cross the ball into the box, and those 2 are going to head it in or stick it in the goal. You've got 2 out and out, centre forwards. So the question marks for me really are Townsend and Gray consistent enough? Are the quality coming out of them good enough? Are they productive enough? If so, I think the 2 strikers will score. The midfield of them 2, for me, the distribution isn't good enough in there. I don't think you will play that pass that you want in behind to get those wingers in good positions to cross. I think they'll get overrun. Decore in particular, his distribution is really poor. And there was question marks at what his position this season is. He wants more of an offensive position, running late into the box. Okay, that's fine. So Keane and Godfrey have got to step up a lot closer with Allen, a little triangle, one of the fullbacks as well, so we're not overloaded, and let Decore be the late runner into the box on the crosses. I think that's okay. I think a lot of games, that midfield is going to get a hell of a lot overrun. I'm going to need to see Richarlison dropping in as maybe like a false 10, coming in just to provide a little bit of support in the midfield, a bit like we saw under Marco Silva in that second season. Just dropping in there as a support striker. Obviously, if James comes in or another winger, and I think that's the aim, it does change the formation and style. The 2 fullbacks, a lot of it's going to come from them and their combination play. I think against Southampton, if they pass the ball quick, the midfield has just really got to get a good grips of them and get the ball into the box. And I think this team plays to the strengths of maybe the players we've got. In terms of Godfrey, I want to see him playing a lot more often. So I'm pleased you've started him ahead of Holgate. I think he could be a future captain. And you've got to breed players with such potential. I think someone like Holgate has reached his level, and I think Godfrey's got a long way to go still. So I really like the team selection you've gone with. Yeah, I think it's really good. I'm just going to quickly go to the comments. Stephen Richardson, hi SD. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hi guys, disappointed James missing tomorrow. Yeah, we're all disappointed. We've waited all this time to see him and still not going to see him with a full fans. I think it really might change his mind in terms of his mentality here. Alex is saying Fab Twitter, not quite sure. If you're saying we're Fab, we'll take that. Thank you very much, Alex. That means a lot. And Jerry, how are you doing, mate? Thank you for your comment. And George, your comment on COVID. We'll come back to that. I think I know what you're referring to. We'll come back to that.
The only other solution I kind of have is to go with a bit more of a resolute midfield with Allen and Davies, hush and harry them. And you put Decore in that number. You don't seem impressed. But actually, Decore was quite productive in that sort of number 10 position he played in his last season at Watford, or the season before. I think he got like 10 goals, 7 assists. So he obviously can play that role, and you can play more of a 4-3-3, and let Gray and Richarlison get close to Calvert-Lewin. Also, that does offer you Townsend off the bench, and with the other team, you kind of have nothing off the bench. You're looking at the likes of Iwobi, or I can't even think. You're probably looking at Gordon because the injuries to players at the moment. You've got Delph and Gordon on the bench, so I don't know if the first 11 doesn't do it. We're still like down to bare bones.
I think we are looking very short. I think most Everton fans know that the first 11, when everyone's fit, is decent. I think when one or two players get injured, the whole dimension of the team. When Luca Dean got injured last season, we had no crossing off the left. Calvert-Lewin's goals dried up. I think when certain individuals go that we're heavy reliant on get injured or something happens with them, the whole team changes and we don't function. I think now we just have to say, right, we've got Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. We're going to feed these two. And that is how we play, to get up and feed them. I don't want to see a deep line this season. I just think we're going to be overrun in midfield with some huge gaps, particularly like in these sorts of games against Southampton, which move the ball in triangles quite quick. I don't want to see the deep line. I think if we've got Godfrey, we've got the pace. Yeah, we know we could do with another right back. We've got to try and change something. We've got to get closer to the opposition goal to get in these crossing positions, certainly at Goodison Park. And it should be a case of, say, Townsend's injured. We have a winger who can come in. I mean, he wouldn't start for me, but you have someone else who can come in and do the same sort of job that we want to do, which is beat players and get the ball into the strikers. I think with the team you've said tomorrow, Dave, I think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be a comfortable win, but I think there's going to be very testing times ahead. And the optimism that maybe I'd have had on the video a couple of weeks ago is waned, maybe by the fact we haven't brought anyone in and there's still players we haven't got rid of. And obviously Gylfi Sigurdsson's been suspended. And I know there seems to be some sort of ban on talking about it, but he was a key player that last season. I think he got 5 goals. Maybe 8 goals, 5 assists, or one of the other way around. He was a really important player. He's been suspended or sacked. I'm not able to clarify, but he's not playing, and potentially he would have played. Gomez hit and miss. What's happened to him? We don't know what's going on. James injured Moise Keane. So there's a lot of question marks over individuals. We're looking really thin. I think if we come up a team that's got a really good central defensive partnership in terms of defending the box, we're going to struggle where the goal's going to come from, because that would mitigate our crossing style. And we don't really have players who score goals from outside the box if James isn't playing. So I'm thinking that against better opposition, we're going to really, have some difficulties. But, from that kind of bottom half of the table, the lower 10 teams, and maybe some in the top half, I think we'll be okay. I'm struggling to get as excited as probably I should be the day before a season in terms of the season as a whole, I think obviously you're excited because you're going tomorrow, and
yeah, well, tomorrow is it going to be about using the fans to pull us over the line? I feel, because I don't think there'll be a huge difference between the teams at this stage. If you look at a lot of early games in the season, they tend to be a bit stale, don't they? A bit of a draw, or because teams are still warming up. So, but if we can get the 3 points over the line with the fans' enthusiasm behind the team, then I think that we've done the job well tomorrow.
Baz, would you almost rather play like a Man City, Man United, have a really difficult start and just get those games out of the way where we're not expected to do anything and maybe they're not at it at the start of the season?
Probably not from what I saw last week against Man United. I mean, they look miles ahead of us in terms of preparation and mentality for the season. I think we need a bit of a confidence booster at this stage. And the crowd will be up for it like they would be if it was United coming. So,
yeah,
just because they haven't seen us play for 18 months. So I think it will be fine.
If you're just joining us now, thank you. I know we've got a lot of our regular subscribers watching. I know the video isn't at the most convenient time, but this is the time we're putting it on. We hope if you're watching back, you're really enjoying the video. I think our next video is going to be on Sunday, unless something happens tomorrow and Basil's feeling extremely determined to come in and say his piece after going to Goodison. Him and I imagine Mabsy, John or Stevie will join him. I'd just like to also interrupt you before we go to the comments and come back on for another 10 minutes on Southampton. Just want to share a message from our friend Luca Dean. Yes, I am going to milk this video because it is fantastic. Thank you.
It's Dean. Follow Everton.
Subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
See you later, Lucas.
It's Lucas.
You had subscribed if you're watching now, I think. It's a good video, that. He's a really nice guy, isn't he, Basil?
Yeah, he's very good. I've met him in the past as well. He's very friendly. And he's obviously a great character to have in the dressing room.
Yeah, he's the vice captain, and I bumped into him last week, and I said, you're able to tell people to subscribe to follow Everton. So he was more than happy to oblige. He even told me it was a fantastic channel, believe it or not. So you can go now and click on the subscribe button and like this video if you're watching wherever. It means a lot to us. I think we're up to 350 subscribers now, which is fantastic for a small channel. And I think, hopefully over the next couple of months, we can get up to 500 subscribers. And I think then we can look at how we're going to grow the channel and different things we can do to get some really good content out for you. And if you're interested in contributing, you're more than happy to get in touch with. You're more than welcome, I should say, to get in touch with me over on Twitter. You can search for @FollowEverton and drop me a private message. We are looking for another person who would like to come on the channel and provide their input on a regular basis. Baz, should we go over and look at the comments?
Yeah, I think we've had a few comments.
This one from Stephen Richardson. Hi, Steve. He's saying, what do you think of Rafa's press conference? Thought he was not giving much away. We've touched on this. If you're watching back, you'll see. But we thought he was coy at times, didn't give a lot of information away about the team and availability of certain individuals. But we've gone from a couple of sources and we've been able to find out who's not playing and who is. But we hope he becomes a bit more engaging and more transparent in future press conferences. Gavin saying use Brands as wages to get our right back. Gavin, you're not too impressed with Marcel, are you? What's he done at Everton? I mean, we could do a separate video on this, but the academy isn't producing anyone. I believe that young left back Thierry Smalls left Everton Football Club as a 16-year-old. And what does that say about the academy? Not produced anyone of note, and certainly not anyone of top 6 standards since Ross Barkley back in 2010. So I really, look at what we're doing through the academy, what we're producing. We're not really getting the gems, and where is the player development? And you've got players like Mina coming into the last year, I think, of the contract as well. So what is he doing? And are we getting the best out of him? Is he doing the job that we would expect him to? Basil, in terms of Southampton now, they're a team. What do you think their ambitions would be this season? Do you think it's a case of just trying to stay in the league, or do you think they'll want to be pushing for Europe themselves?
I don't really know what they'll be thinking, but from what I've seen, I don't think they'll be in a position to kind of challenge for Europe this season. They've let, as I said, touched on before, they've let 3 of their first 11 go, and they've brought in what looks to be young, hungry talent, which I don't really know much about. We've got I can't even pronounce his name, but Valentin somebody. He's 18-year-old from Chelsea. They've brought in Roman Parad and another centre back from Chelsea, Sinu. And then obviously Theo Walcott came in. He was there on loan from us last season. And then their biggest signing looks to be Adam Armstrong from the Championship. Played for Blackburn. He's quite highly rated. He's got a bit of pace about him. He gets in the right areas. He's a finisher. So, I think with him, they might be able to score a few goals, but we don't know if he's up to the standard of Ings at this level.
Yeah.
It's going to be an increase from the Championship, and whether he can hit the ground running.
It could be a disaster for them this season, really. They might be fighting relegation if they don't replace Ings as goals, because you look at how reliant they've been on him. And I think they're a side that always seem to be going on runs, like maybe 10 or 15 games where they've played absolutely crap and they've had that loss to Leicester or, their annual 10-0 defeat. And then they'll go on a run where they might win 5 and they'll be safe. And I think...
Yeah, because they play a very high-intensity football, don't they? I think they play 4-4-2 still. And they tend to go on in confident spells where they'll play 2 months without looking untouchable and right in your face and winning the ball and just looking really like
practicing really well,
top 8 contenders. And then the next minute they'll be like, where are they going to buy a goal from? They're going to go down. So that's why I said I can't really predict them. But looking at the squads that where squads have improved this season, I don't think they've really improved on the face of it. It might happen in a couple of years when these young players, they're only 18, 24, 20, when they develop, they might be pushing for top 6, but they've got to stay in the division for now to get there.
Have we improved?
No, if we're looking on about all 20 teams and the way they've strengthened, from what I can see, I put Southampton as struggling to stay up, really, bottom sort of 15th to just above maybe relegation zone. And I'd be predicting Everton between sort of 9th and 10th. So, it's really difficult because you're looking at United, City, Chelsea and Liverpool. It looks like they're way above everyone else. Leicester are just, okay, not far behind. And then you got Spurs, Arsenal in a group behind that. And then you just can't see us be, paper for paper. We're nowhere near there now.
Yeah. We've slipped. And
we're 8th minimum, like 8th maximum looks like where we can get unless we have an unbelievable season.
Well, I look at it as well very similarly to you, David. I think that Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, United and City were nailed on top 5. And I think if Kane goes, Spurs will struggle. But at the moment, them and Arsenal probably have improved with the signings they've made. And with the signings we've made, I think maybe they could actually make the difference in terms of they might actually facilitate Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison to score the goals that they could have done last season had we had someone who could cross the ball. Because from December onwards, we didn't cross the ball. So you might look at it and say, well, actually, we have improved because we might have a style of play. But in terms of on paper, I look at Aston Villa. I know they lost Grealish, but Buendía and Ings and Bailey, the players that they've brought in, the 3 of them, arguably all 3 would get in our team and improve us. So I think maybe they've sold Grealish, but they've replaced him and improved. And Leeds were above us, and so I can't see us finishing at the moment. It's difficult because I think we'll beat a lot of teams, as I said earlier. I think with the side we've got, if we find a crossing style that becomes effective, we'll win the second balls. We'll win a lot of teams, but then when you really look at it and you think, would 11th place flatter us this season with the squad we've got and the way the other teams have improved? Let us know in the comments what you think and what your anticipation is for this game and for the season based on what you've seen in pre-season.
It's not just how if we're better, because we probably are a little bit better with, with that natural width being brought in. But if we're 20% better and then Spurs bring in a centre back and a winger and another player, and they're 40% better because of that, then, we're going backwards. We're actually going backwards in a way if all the other teams above us are moving forward quicker.
What do you make of the lack of investment this season in Everton Football Club's transfers? Do you think it's because of the stadium?
No, it's financial fair play, isn't it?
But what about City spending 100 million on Grealish?
Well, I don't understand that. I mean, they just seem to have these fancy lawyers, then, don't they, that can get them out of it. I mean, we've never been sanctioned by financial fair play. So, even if we spent 10 million extra, surely we could argue, a way out of it due to COVID or something at this stage.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, isn't it? But at the moment, you can't really see past us finishing in those areas. You got West Ham, you've got Aston Villa as well, which
I forgot about West Ham. That's the thing. I mean, when you look at them and you look at what they did last season, there's probably 8 or 9 teams better than us as a bare minimum. So, I mean, I do think we'll be. What I probably should say instead of saying we'll beat, the bottom 14 teams, is that we're a match for those teams. Anywhere from the top 6 down, we play them on our day. We'll beat them, and expect us to win most of the home games. But I think that top 6, Leicester's and City's, Chelsea's, I think we're going to struggle to get anything against them. We're not going to finish above them, and maybe we're going to struggle this season. And we just have to see. I think we'll learn a lot from the first few games. Joey's saying Ward-Prowse's quality. He's one that Aston Villa have been trying to get. There are players out there we could go for, but is Everton a step up now? And do players want to play for Rafa Benitez?
Yeah, Ward-Prowse is a good player.
Somewhere else.
I don't know if he's referring to Ward-Prowse in terms of, the opposition, or whether he's saying we should buy Ward-Prowse.
No, I think he means the opposition. So
Ward-Prowse has had a bit of an injury and he was a doubt for this game. I know he's now been back in training about 3 days and he's been confirmed to play by Hassan Huthul. So he will play, but, we've got to hope. He's missed 4 preseason fixtures. So how fit is he going to be? We don't know. So let's hope he's kind of not match fit.
Obviously, with set pieces, he's very good at that. And I just want to bring in Jordan Pickford on this. A friend of mine actually said after the World Cup in 2018, and he knew Jordan Pickford, and he said he'd come back from the World Cup and his head was all over the place. He was like an overly excited child. And we saw a Jordan Pickford that was pretty much all over the place for long parts of that season and making a lot of mistakes. Do you think... I mean, I see a lot of stuff on social media with him at parties, dressed in some very suspect clothes and acting like a bit of a pillock. So, Jordan Pickford, would you just throw him in on Saturday? I mean, he's going to play, but to be honest,
take all the partying aside, I put him in my team purely because he's going to play as our number 1 this season. So what's the point taking him out now? When are you going to bring him back in? So he's just got to play for me. He's just got to start, play. And if he makes a load of mistakes for a few matches, then maybe we'll question it. It was pre-season. It was a one-off. He's got to focus now. Otherwise, Begovic does look like a decent backup keeper and he'll be...
Even a mistake he's dropped, genuinely, straight away. I think Rafa's absolutely ruthless, and he'll just say, "You've made a mistake. You've cost us this." Begovic, he's more than capable.
It's just the distribution, but I think that's
no one anyway half the time.
Well, he's quite accurate with the distribution, but it depends how much value that adds to the team compared to him dropping clangers in. It's not going to add that much value. You've got to do the basics first. Unless you're Man City and you have all the ball and you want a keeper who can ping it out if you get impressed. We're going to be like, an even match for most teams. The
the thing I look at it like on a tactical perspective, we play high line, Pickford's quicker and more agile, but is he that good at rushing out? And then if we're playing a low block, Begovic is tall, he's better with maybe coming out for crosses and being above a tall defence. So, Basil, we're going to leave it there. I know a lot of you are still watching. Give us a thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching on YouTube. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Dave, we're not sponsoring Coca-Cola. What's going on there? Are you going to invest in some? I know I'm not.
Maybe I'll invest. Pardon?
But I've got an order for the blue polo shirt, the black polo shirt, and the blue jacket, and I've got the training kit, and I think I might get the white one as well. But why are you sponsoring Coca-Cola? What's the story?
I know it's red, isn't it? As well, it's not good.
Hi, Andrew. I'm afraid we're wrapping up now. You can watch us back. Make sure you do so. We'll see you on the next video. I know the 5:30 is a little bit of an awkward one because people finish work, and I think the best time for our videos is 6:30, 7 o'clock start. The shows on the Sundays, we hopefully get more people interacting. And if you're just watching this back, thank you very much. It means a lot to see the numbers grow. We've been doing really well on the videos. I think we're up to 350 subscribers, and some of our recent videos have hit 500 on YouTube, and one of them I think had 1,500 views on YouTube and another couple of thousand on Facebook. So the videos are doing much better, and I think that's a slow growth with it, but we're enjoying it, aren't we, Basil? You're going to be with me throughout the season, and hoping there's more good times than bad, and certainly looking back on Sunday with a bit of a smile after Everton beat Southampton 6-0 at Goodison Park.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. Thank you for everyone for keep watching the videos. You're supporting us. It's early days, and we're hoping to grow and grow.
We're hoping to grow. Very quickly finish the comments. Tim, hiya, Tim. He's saying that press conference was embarrassment. Yeah, we did touch on this. We were a bit disappointed with it. Saying James is self-isolating when he was streaming with Mina on Twitch. We just put two and two together and assume that Mina's also self-isolating. But then, why would they be self-isolating together? Surely the whole point is they stay on their own and not together. So something not going. It's not quite right going on. Definitely. Planet Football, hi lads, just sub. That's excellent. Thank you very much, mate. Stephen saying, see you later. Have a good weekend, guys. Andrew saying, come on, you Blues for tomorrow. Thank you, guys, for watching. We will see you soon. Basil, enjoy the match tomorrow. I've got to somehow sort out these 3 season tickets or tickets for tomorrow for my family member who hasn't received them, believe it or not, with less than 24 hours before the game. It's a bit of a fast. Should we watch that video from Luca one more time? We're just milking it.
It's Lucas Dean. Follow Everton.
Subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
See you later, Lucas.